Hello everyone, this is Dr. K. Jagannayaki, Professor in MBA Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today I would like to discuss with you all about trading forecast. After going through this topic, the learner will be able to understand the concept of trading forecast, how trading took place, and how do we estimate the things related to trading. Coming to the introduction, forecasting it refers to the practice of predicting what will happen in the future by taking into consideration events in the past and present. Basically, forecasting is a decision making tool that helps businesses cope up with the impact of the future's uncertainty by examining historical data and trends. So, in case of forecasting, we used to consider the past and present conditions. Based on that, we used to predict how the future will be due to uncertainty in the business. It is a planning tool that enables businesses to chart their next moves and create budgets that will hopefully cover whatever uncertainties may occur. So, with the help of this forecasting, the businessmen they used to plan accordingly so that they can survive in the long run and also they can generate return on their investment. The next, budgeting versus forecasting. Budgeting and forecasting are both tools that help businesses plan for their future. However, the two are distinctly different in many ways. Budgeting involves creating financial statements for a specific period, such as projected revenue, expenses, cash flow, and investment. It is usually conducted with input from many different departments because it requires input from multiple departments in order to come up with a holistic and detailed report. Therefore, the budgeting processes takes time to complete. The company uses budget to guide in its financial activities. So budgeting is important activity in the organization because they are going to evaluate the financial statements. They will prepare for a specific duration. So they used to estimate what will be their projected revenue, how much expenditure occur in the coming future, and how much cash flows they are going to generate, and how much investment they have to make in different activities of the business. So that can be assessed with the help of a budget or a plan, which is always meant for company's future. Whereas forecasting refers to the practice of predicting what will happen in the future by taking into consideration events in the past and present. For example, if a company want to assess or predict their future sales, that should be done based on the past and present sales. The company sold in the past 3 months 500 units, 700 units, and 600 units accordingly. Then coming to the next months, the estimated sales are just by taking the average of these 3 months, then they can able to predict the future sales. While related, budgets and forecasts are separate concepts. A budget is a plan for a company's future, whereas a forecast is a sign of where the company is going. So that is the basic difference between a budget and a forecast. Based on the forecast, a budget may be altered to better reflect reality. While budgets are usually made for an entire year, whereas forecasts are usually updated monthly or quarterly. Through forecasting, a company can project where it's going and it may adjust its budget and allocate more or less funds to an activity depending on the forecast. In summary, budgets depend on the forecast. Coming to the forecasting methods, businesses choose between two basic methods when they want to predict what can possibly happen in the future. These two methods are, one is qualitative method, another one is quantitative method. Coming to the qualitative method, it is also known as the judgmental method because qualitative forecasting offers subjective results and it is comprised of personal judgment by experts or forecasters. So, based on their opinions, they use to judge the things. Forecasts are often biased because they are based on the expert's knowledge, intuition, and experience, making the process non mathematical. One example is when a person forecasts the outcome of a final game in the NBA based more on personal motivation and interest. The weakness of such method is that it can be inaccurate and biased because there is no systematic criteria adapted in this type of method. So it purely depends on the opinions, judgments, and perceptions. So they may vary from one person to other person. And second method is quantitative method. The quantitative method of forecasting, it is a mathematical process. It makes the things consistent and objective. It steers away from basing the result on opinion and intuition. So instead of taking the opinions and intuition, utilizing large amounts of data and figures that are interpreted. As it is a mathematical process, everything goes in a systematic manner and it is purely objective in nature. Whoever will use this kind of methods, they will get the same result. Coming to the features of forecasting, some of the features of making a forecast. First one, it involves future events. Forecasts are always created to predict the future, making them important for planning. And second feature is that based on past and present events. So forecasting is done on the basis of historical and the present data. So they are based on opinions, intuition, guesses, as well as on facts, figures, and other relevant data. All of these factors that go into creating a forecast, it reflects some extent what happened with the business in the past and what is considered likely to occur in the future. And third one uses forecasting techniques. So most businesses use the quantitative method, particularly in planning and budgeting. The process of forecasting, forecasters need to follow a careful process in order to yield accurate result. The steps involved in the forecasting process are develop the basis of forecasting. This is the first step in forecasting process, which includes investigation of the company's condition, identification where the business is currently positioned in the market. So we used to analyze the current market position of the company. And second, estimate the future operations of the business. Based on the investigation conducted during the first step, the second part of the forecasting involves estimating the future conditions of the industry where the business operates and projecting and analyzing how the company will fare in the future. Third one, regulate the forecast. So this step involves looking at different forecasts in the past and comparing them with what actually happened with the business. The difference in previous results and the current forecast are analyzed and the reasons for the deviations are considered. Then the fourth step is review the process. So each and every step is checked. Wherever necessary, some kind of refinements and modifications are made. That's how we used to review and make the predictions effective. And coming to the sources of data for forecasting, there are two types of sources. One is primary sources, another one is secondary sources. Primary sources means information from primary sources takes time to gather because it is first hand information. It also considered the most reliable and trustworthy sort of information. As we are going to collect the information directly from the respondents, whatever information we used to collect as it is first hand information, the data is more reliable and trustworthy. The forecaster does the collection and may do so through things such as interviews, questionnaire, focus group. So one may conduct primary survey by using different types of methods like interview methods, questionnaire, focus groups, telephonic interviews, mailing surveys. So it depends on the type of survey. Coming to the secondary sources supply information that has been collected and published by other entities. An example of this type of information might be industry reports. So, as this information has already been compiled and analyzed, it makes the process quicker as compared to primary sources. Then, coming to the best practices for capital expenditure forecasting, which is also known as capex forecasting, it is often overlooked component in financial decision making applications. By accurately predicting and analyzing future capital investments as part of integrated budgeting and forecasting, businesses can align their resources, assess the financial implications of different cost cutting scenarios, and optimize their long term growth strategies. So, whenever the company, if they want to go for strategic decisions, like whenever they are seeking for the long term growth, they should go with capital expenditure forecasting. Businesses need effective and powerful tools to tackle multiple tasks when it comes to capex forecasting. Coming to the allocating capital, for most businesses, capital is finite, and understanding where best to allocate the capital available can become a cottage industry. Effective forecasting tools that enable the modeling of scenarios quickly and easy, but can also be built into the wider business model, allowing fully connected planning, which is the only method for understanding the true impact of capital allocation. For example, if a company has a problem, they have two options: either they have to make or buy decision. In that case, the company, they have to analyze the current scenario, how much funds available with them, and how to best allocate the capital in which type of option, so that they can finally generate some kind of revenue on their investment. So that should be possible with capex forecasting. The next, assess financial viability. Capital intensive projects can have a substantial impact on a company's financial health. Integration of capex forecast into cash and balance sheet financials provide a true picture of the financial status of the company, and that for plans, how do they plan to maintain a good financial position. In isolated spreadsheets where treasury, FP&A, and strategy are not in constant communication, businesses lack the agility to utilize capital most effectively. So it is also helpful to assess the financial viability. The third one, modeling the detail. So, more often than not, the large investment businesses need to make are not straightforward, but in fact need to be supported by complex modeling to understand the medium to long term financial impact on all three financial statements. Purpose built solutions provide the tools to model complex depreciation curves on the fly without the manual number crunching. So people they have to go with the different kinds of financial modeling, and based on that they make the things very easier, and they can also get the accuracy in terms of the results. Then accurate capex forecasting involves a systematic approach that incorporates multiple assumptions and considerations. Some of the key best practices to enhance capex forecasting are historical analysis. So, in this analysis, one has to analyze the historical data to identify patterns, trends, and seasonality, and also review the past projects to understand their success, cost overruns, and reasons for deviations. So, this kind of analysis provides valuable insights into the accuracy of previous forecast and also helps to refine future projections. The second one is collaborative input. In this case, engaging all relevant stakeholders such as department heads, project managers, and finance professionals in the forecasting process. Seek their input on upcoming initiatives and their expected timelines and associated costs, but crucially, understand how the impact of capex initiatives can impact the wider business as a whole. For example, how will a financial digital transformation project allow not only a reduction in overall OPEX but also impact downstream financials such as an improvement in aged debtors or a reduction in accounts receivable cost. So that should be possible with the help of collaboration of all the people in a particular organization. The next one, market research and benchmarking. Explore the market trends, identify the technological advancements, if any, and notice the regulatory changes and also the competitors' activities. A thorough set of benchmarking data it provides the business with the information they need to make accurate and realistic forecasts. For example, the impact of a new technology investment can have a significant impact depending on the level of similar investment across an industry. Is investment competitive enough to keep market share growth against competitors who may also be investing in the area? Leveraging technology and appropriate tools can significantly enhance the accuracy and efficiency of capex forecasting and scenario modeling. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.